This is Shannon from Avenger of Blood, and you're watching Poppet's Corner. Turn it up.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Poppet's Corner. This is the big one, ladies and gentlemen. You know, as Red Fox will say, this is definitely the big one, and I couldn't have picked a better guest than doing the episode 100 of Poppet's Corner. Yes, that's right. And then the legendary Mr. Mike Abominator. How you doing today, sir?
Hello. Congratulations, man.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I'm trying not to do, make it too big of a deal about it, but it's a milestone for the show, and I appreciate you coming on and hanging with me, dude. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, no, it kind of worked itself out. The planets aligned, especially Uranus. Uranus was right there, and but no, I mean, everything came together. I ended up being the 100th episode. Guess it was just meant to be. What do you got there?
Oh, I'm drinking a Modelo.
So. There you go.
I'm celebrating. It's my celebration right now. So episode 100, I get to have a beer.
Cheers. Yeah, no, it's good. But yeah, fucking congratulations, man. It's cool to be on here, and it's an honor to be your 100th.
Well, I couldn't have picked a better fucking guest because of two reasons. I think you gave us our first ever review, so thank you for that. And
is that the Metal Maniacs?
Yeah, dude. I printed it out, and I don't think that website's there anymore. But I printed it out, and I still have the review for all time. That's why having physical stuff is important. So, cool. And then the other reason why you're important is because you gave us opportunities other people didn't. So thanks for all that you do, my friend. So,
sure.
I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but we're just going to start talking because I've already interviewed you with your career, and that was fucking awesome. But let's talk about kind of what you got coming up, or what you're up to nowadays. Is there more Gasp stuff happening? Is there more Ruin stuff? What's going on in your world?
Yeah, Gasp. Unfortunately, we're still together. We still have plans and still doing merchandise and whatnot, keeping the Store Envy, or I'm sorry, we shut down that Store Envy. The Bandcamp is running, and I actually got so busy with the Ruin merchandise. Cynthia took over the Gasp merchandise full time because I was doing both. I was doing the Vrenth as well, but I passed that over to Christian because Bruin got so busy with the merchandising recently, with the ski masks and the hats and the shirts. And I mean, it's just really, the response has been insane. So I can't run 3 sites anymore. So I just said, hey, help, and passed the Gasp over to Cynthia, passed the Vrenth over to Christian. And they were like totally cool because we're family, we figured out, make it work. So they were able to help me out and take that over. And, it's been cool merch wise, as far as Gasp goes. We haven't really been together in over a year, all 5 of us in a room, because obviously the pandemic, but Los Angeles was the fucking epicenter of the virus. So it was just fucking scary, for a while. And we jam right outside of downtown LA, like in the Koreatown neighborhood. So that was really hard hit over there. So it was just really sketchy trying to get all 5 of us, in a small little room over at our drummer Mike's house and get us all in there. Just the way, life happened, unfortunately. But we were able to still do Zoom meetings, shit like this, online chats, and keep in touch, obviously, through phone calls and texts and whatnot. And, I've seen a couple of them, thankfully, just, handed off records and stuff like that. We've definitely been able to remain busy behind the scenes, which very thankful for that. Doing a lot of re-releases from the back catalog, like the Drum Trailer album is in the process. Will from To Live a Lie Records over in North Carolina put it out on tape for the first time. So that's on cassette tape. Sore for Days is coming out on vinyl on Haunted Hotel Records. Yeah, that'll be on vinyl. Our buddy Ted from The Crypt and Dark Recollections did that CD version you have there. Our friend Bruce did the shirts. That was cool, Warlord. But yeah, Ralph at Haunted Hotel is going to do the vinyl. And as you know, vinyl production is like at a screeching halt right now. It's taken forever to get records out. So Sword for Days is at press, as far as I know, from what Ralph told me. And then, it's just a matter of when it sneaks through the pipe, and it'll get out soon, hopefully. And then we just did the Will from To Live a Lie put out the Stardonis 7-inch. So that's like the first new Gasp material in a very long time that's officially out, on a label. And then James over at Black Horizons Records did the Ghost and Scowl Out 12-inch, which is kind of like that was officially the first Gasp material in like 20 years at one point. But we just did that on our own as a CDR for the Power Violence Fest up in Oakland a couple years ago. And so we only had we made 300 CDRs or something like that. I don't even know if we made that many, maybe 200. So just to kind of hand them out, we sold them for like $5, whatever, just a little slipcase, but the response was good. And, we put the songs up on the Bandcamp, and then we remixed some stuff and added maybe another 11, 12 minutes of material. And that's what's on the LP now. So, go ahead and Google search To Live a Lie Records, Haunted Hotel Records, Black Horizons Records, and anybody that's interested in the Gasp stuff can find all that. I know that Ted over at the Crypt probably still has the CD. I think Dark Descent, they co-released that Sword for Days CD too, so you could probably get it from the Dark Descent site as far as I know. But we also have copies on our Bandcamp for sale. We got a lot of this stuff up there. We don't have the vinyl up yet because we want the labels to kind of, sell that stuff. But we have a lot of material to go through, because since 2017, when we started jamming up again, we record every single practice. So not only did we record the songs from the set that we're going to play live, a lot of the improvisational stuff that Gasp is known for, that's all recorded. So, and we make up stuff on the fly, and sometimes it's horrible and sometimes it's killer. So we come up with a lot of material. So that's all recorded. So we sit there and go through all that stuff. So we might have some more releases coming out as far as that stuff goes. And then we definitely want to get a full-length album out at some point, probably do some more 7-inches and, maybe put out some of our own tapes and whatnot. I know Cynthia unearthed some old radio show performances and stuff like that, but it's, recorded off of old beat up Ghetto Blaster tapes and old cassette tapes and stuff like that. So that stuff will probably, we won't fuck with it too much. We would definitely need to get it remastered and get the tape hiss out of there and get it presentable into a WAV file, and so we can send it to press and shit like that. So Gasp is, we haven't jammed in over a year, but hopefully that'll change soon. I know we're all anxious to get back together and start making some music together again, but we have remained active behind the scenes with merchandise and releases and whatnot. So it's been cool,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, it's kind of fitting that it's, the Gasp material is 25 years old now. Sword for Days came out in literally 96. So you're a fucking old man right now. 25 years. Congratulations, dude.
Yeah, man. Obviously, I'm a fucking loser. I'm a fucking lifer. I ain't going anywhere. So I've been doing it this long, doing it horribly. So you're all fucked. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to continue. And Ruin's even worse. So you're all really fucked.
I always liked, ever since I got this Gasp demo, I was I always loved it. It was, it reminds me of what my first demo was. That I sent you a copy of that too, so you can check it out. But it kind of reminds me of that same thing too, where it's it's just really cool to have it. That's how I feel about your demo.
You know what, man? We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We just fucking, we're having fun throwing shit in a blender. We're definitely one of the bands back in the day. It was kind of, it wasn't the usual thing to mix metal and punk and slow and grind and, doom and sludge with grind and experimental. So, we might not have been the best band around, but we were definitely unique. We had our own style. And then obviously, later on with the more experimental stuff and the Drum Trailer album, totally different. but people dig that stuff too. So there's different eras of Gasp, and with the stuff we're doing now, we're trying to mix up everything. I mean, that's why we play the old songs too, Sore for Days and Harvest and shit like that. We might even bust out a couple of those other demo tracks, but we're just that's the main thing, is just enjoying it. I mean, that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Dude, so you mentioned all these labels, you working with all these labels and whatnot. And I'm just kind of curious for you, I mean, labels still play a part even in today's world. And people may not even realize it. So in your opinion, what do labels do that's the most helpful in your guys' camp, maybe that you have trouble kind of getting over some humps that labels can literally just blast through it and it's no problem?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the label people have the patience and it's almost like the drive to put up with the fucking bullshit of getting this stuff out there. It makes it so much easier, because even the small label that I run is a fucking pain in the ass. I just don't I don't mind getting orders and sending them out, and when communicating with people. That's not what I'm talking about. But trying to coordinate stuff and get all the ducks in a row and getting shit in line and communicating with people and trying to get shit done is really annoying, because I'm more of a fucking artistic asshole in that sense. I'd rather be in the jam room with my boys fucking creating some fucking death noise. You know what I mean? Like, that's the best right there. I mean, that's the reason why I'm doing it. It's that escape of, like, you're in the fucking room with your crew and you're just like, fuck, man. That's like one of the, you know what I'm talking about, dude. That's one of the best feelings in the fucking world, man. That's why we're doing this shit. And then, obviously the live performance, that live ritual, so to speak, quote unquote. There's nothing like it, man. It's that high of the energy of watching people go off to what you're performing or whatnot. I mean, it's in the blood. So I'd rather focus on all that shit than trying to communicate with pressing plants and designers and doing all this stuff. No, don't get me wrong. I do all that stuff. I do all that stuff behind the scenes. It's not my favorite shit to do. The labels are just so crucial with that, because they're very important people, very unique people that are able to pull that shit off, And I mean, some of these people I'm friends with and watch them grow into these, bigger labels and very successful. It's fucking cool, man. I mean, me, man, I'm pretty fucking supportive. So I like seeing fucking people succeed, because basically you surround yourself with people that succeed, you're going to fucking succeed too. A lot of positive reinforcement there, fucking positive energy, getting shit done, getting the bullshit out of the way. That's what it's all about. So if you got good label support, honest people with conviction and drive, and they're doing it for the fucking right reasons, they're not trying to fucking take money out of your pocket, doing shit behind your back, bullshit practices. They're just straight up fucking honest. I mean, they're fucking homeboys, man, or homegirls, whatever. They're fucking family,
Absolutely.
They got your back, and they go to bat for you. It's fucking killer. I mean, the labels are fucking crucial. And these days, they're so fucking crucial and important,
I agree with everything you're saying, and what I'm getting with this is because I literally just got off the I've been texting with Scott Waters of No Life to Metal Records, who's doing a phenomenal job on our Maleficent reissue. Our first album's getting reissued on vinyl for the first time, and CD with like a killer bonus track. So I mean, just even communicating with him, and he's doing lyric videos. I'm like, this is fucking killer. Like, those kind of little things to me are crucial.
Yeah.
Making a lyric video so I don't have to, doing because I don't want to do that work. It's just not, it's not fun for me to do that. I'd much rather like do what I'm doing on the podcasts and whatnot. And so, I think having a team behind you in any facet is crucial. So that's where a label would come in. Or even if you're doing like a podcast like what I'm doing, and having, the CMSPN, the CMS Podcast Network, come in and essentially we're a team now. So it's just, that's how you grow as a community. And so with the metal community, especially in LA, we didn't have a lot of that. And that's what's kind of missing in LA for a number of years for me personally. I'm only speaking for this side of the table here. Maybe you can, either disagree or agree, whatever that is. But I just felt in the metal community, especially, it's always kind of like a competition factor rather than everybody helping each other out. Because it's like the crab mentality, the one crab tries to get up and all the other crabs pull him down. And so nobody's actually getting out of the barrel working as a team.
I mean, I agree with you about most of that stuff. At the same time, you're definitely right about the competition stuff too. And unfortunately it's that way because, I look at this as an art and I don't think it should be a competition. I think that's fucking bullshit. This isn't sports. This isn't a job. It shouldn't be. So, this isn't a fucking event, where you're trying to get a gold medal and shit like that. But a lot of people treat it like that, unfortunately. And, as much as I love LA and the LA scene, it's kind of like that too, here a lot of ways. There's different scenes, whether it was Sweden, I'm talking mainly death metal, or grindcore. Let's say like the English scene, the UK scene, with Napalm Death and Heresy and, Hell Bastard and all them back in the day. And then you go to Sweden with the death metal explosion with Entombed and, Dismember, and even New York with Immolation and Suffocation and Mortician and all those bands. There was a lot more community in those scenes. And you look, and even in the Bay Area up north in California with like Autopsy and Exhumed and, we can go on and on about the bands that have come out of these areas. The bands that tend to support each other a lot more and grow as a community all succeed, and then you have a scene explosion. So when people work together instead of against each other, that crab mentality, it's not going to fucking get in the way. It ain't going to happen. Everybody's going to fucking eat. You know what I mean? So, and that's the way it should be. Back in Orange County, with the old OC death grind scene back in the day, that I was a part of. Look at all the bands that got signed and took off and started doing shit and putting out albums or whatnot. And you compare that to some of unfortunately, there was a lot of talent in LA back then, but a lot of those bands just didn't pan out, didn't really do much, move on to much, kind of fell by the wayside, unfortunately. So there wasn't that same support network, that same community, even, bands like Slayer or whatnot, they just started doing their own thing and focusing on more like a world domination thing, which that's fine too. That's what we all want to do. The goal is to go play the world anyways, but
right.
And you look same thing with the Bay Area thrash scene,
that's where I was going to get
kind of like, it's kind of like everybody was family. They support each other and look what happened. They all put out landmark legendary albums and helped each other out. Just like I said, the East Coast death metal scene, they all networked, worked together, all became legends. Florida too, down in Florida, with all the Florida death metal bands, they kind of, having a hotbed of talent definitely doesn't hurt, for sure. But, and there's plenty of talent in Los Angeles and some of these other areas, even, some of the other states that had great scenes or whatever that are underrated, whether it's Texas or Seattle or whatever, Chicago, for instance. There's a lot of Chicago bands that came out. Master's not the only one that doesn't get credit. Devastation never gets talked about. There's a lot of bands out of Chicago that don't get the love that they actually really deserve. Same with Texas, though.
Snow White.
Snow White's fucking badass. Yeah. We can go on and on, for sure. But, there's bands in Texas like, Necrovore and Devastation.
Hellstar.
Rotting Corpse. What's that?
Hellstar.
Hellstar's badass, man. Dude, that first Hellstar record's so fucking badass.
Dude, first 4 or 5 are bad. I still love Nosferatu, but
Nosferatu's good too, man. Fucking
my point is, so like in the do you remember the mid tens? Do I have to call them the tens now?
Whatever.
We're in the roaring 20s. Is that what it is now? But do you remember when there was like a traditional heavy metal scene happening? Not the new wave of thrash scene that became popular because all the bands worked together, but we were having like this surge of just traditional heavy metal bands, and I always felt that that scene never thrived as well as the thrash scene, because there wasn't a community, there weren't festivals happening, there weren't, like, that stuff wasn't happening. I think one of the only bands that was like truly doing it for real and throwing the festivals and whatnot was Night Demon and Frost and Fire and stuff. So after that whole thing kind of diminished, right? Night Demon concentrate on their career, as they should, and are still doing it today. But a lot of those bands from the mid 2000s kind of aren't doing anything anymore. It's just there's no scene for it. So that's why I'm saying having a community for anything is just hugely important. And case in point, doesn't even matter where it's at, because we're in Orange County, and that scene didn't even thrive.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, that thrash resurgence that hit LA, like 2004, 2005 with Merciless Death and Witch Haven and Warbringer and all those bands, and then the bands that popped up after them or whatever. Say what you want, whether you love it or hate it or whatever, or thought it was cheesy or you loved it, it doesn't matter, because that's a good example of community and helping each other out. Yeah, not all the bands always got along and this and that, but what I'm saying is that they actually, for the most part, did, and they all helped each other out, played together. I was actually helping throw shows at AWS in 2007 with a lot of that stuff, and we were going to a lot of those shows in 2006, 2007. So I saw it firsthand, and it just reminded me of growing up in the 80s, when that stuff was coming up, and it was very similar, but that stuff all took off, and a lot of those bands, regardless, they were doing albums, they got signed, they were doing tours. Maybe a lot of them aren't around anymore, but they kicked ass for a few years, but there was that sense of community, and it was definitely, it kind of all formed and came together and just worked out that way. And they're able to be pretty fucking successful if you look at it. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
and
no, that's a good example as far as like what you're saying about Night Demon and the heavy metal bands or whatnot. There's always, in any scene, usually, unfortunately, the cream of the crop bands, usually the ones that actually succeed the most and go the farthest and whatnot, if you're a part of something like that. And that's not a knock on some of the other bands or the other people or whatever. It's just, life happens, and this stuff isn't for everybody. It's not meant for every human being. As this is a bottomless well of money and emotions and time and energy and blood, sweat, and tears that, it's hard to keep relationships. It's hard to even keep band members half the time. And whether they're flakes or just, they're having kids and work or whatever it is, or they move or they die, unfortunately, it's crazy. And, when you're around for a while, you've seen it all and done it all. So it's one of those things. It's hard to do this. So it's not a knock on anybody. If it's not for you, you just don't do it, so that's what happens with a lot of these bands, unfortunately. Night Demon was able to branch out and obviously, be very successful and, kind of create their own niche in that sense. And now everybody knows who they are, that's probably, like you said, that's one of the only bands from that era, though, because I do remember all that. One of the only bands that's actually really out there doing stuff. I mean, there's probably a small handful or whatever. I'm not really in touch with that stuff. I mean, Night Demon's cool and everything, but it's not something I listen to on a regular basis. I like the fucking heavy shit or whatever. So
yeah. And
I like my heavy metal. Don't get me wrong. But
where I was going with it was as they were creating something more than just a band, because I've and maybe that's how I've sustained myself too, was I created a podcast. I on Razor Radio with Andy, I'm doing other stuff besides just playing in a band. So that stuff's hugely important, is providing platforms for people to get their stories heard, or playing music together and getting in front of, a new audience. So I there's not a lot of people that do that in our community. No offense to you guys, but
yeah,
I don't see anybody else. I mean, here's a story for you. I went to a show for a few years ago, back when they had shows. Hopefully they'll still
Yeah.
have them. But
10
you
years
know,
ago.
yeah, 10. Yeah, yeah. I can actually say that sadly. But my point is somebody came up to me in like 2007, 2000, or no, 2017, 2018. This is only a
Huh?
few years ago. And they were like, I'm like, man, but this scene like is just blah 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 blah. And the dude told me, he's like, dude, you are the scene. Like you're one of the only ones like literally like bringing everybody together. And I'm not going to take credit for that, but how like knowing that somebody feels like that is just really sad for me. So I encourage everybody to do something else, you know, outside of just
Well,
playing in a band, because I think just playing in a band, it really isn't enough anymore. Especially if you want to make this community grow, it just ain't going to happen if you're just playing in a band, because we have so many of them.
well, yeah, you know, you're right and wrong in that sense, because you got to remember too, you know, it's kind of like that Kiss outlook, right? Love it or hate it. What are you playing in a band for, man? Have fun and to get laid, right? I mean, that's fucking not trying to make fun of it, and people, oh, serious musicians, oh, wait a minute, no, come on, motherfucker, you know what I mean? So that's the initial drive of why you're doing it, and then obviously everything else kind of falls into place or whatever, and then you start taking it a little bit more serious. Maybe the partying fucking calms down a little bit, and you start really crafting some songs, and then realizing, oh shit, we could do something here. Let's treat this a little bit more serious. But at the end of the day, not everybody's meant to do podcasts like what you're doing. There's a reason why you're doing this. Not everybody that's playing a guitar or drums or whatever, that's jamming in a fucking heavy metal band, wants to do what you're doing, and they don't have to either. It's not a knock on them. It's not meant for them. There's a reason why you're doing this, Tanner. You're meant to fucking do this. You're good at it. That guy is right. Whoever said that, you are the scene. You're a big part of that. And, but that's the thing, is like, you're meant for it. Not everybody is, you know what I mean? So it's not, you can't really expect, I mean, honestly, dude, most of the fucking band members and people that we know, they can't even fucking show up to practice on time. So, you know what I mean? And that's all good. Shit happens, man.
Right.
Not everybody, it's not like you got to fucking treat the band like Metallica or Slayer or something,
Well,
and
right.
fucking, start firing people. They're showing up 5 minutes late and shit like that. But, so, I mean, come on, man. We know what's going on. Every band has the person behind the scenes running the show and doing the shit. Some people aren't meant for that. A lot of people, listen, it's no knock on anybody too. I just need the motherfucker to fucking plug in and stay in tune somewhat and fucking play the fucking songs right. Other than that, I'll handle the rest of the shit, man. But there's people that are meant to be promoters. There's people that are meant to have record labels. There's people that are meant to do podcasts like yourself. There's people that are meant to be just a musician, just like, oh, you're meant to play drums. You're meant to play guitar. You're meant to be a singer, whatever. There's some people that are meant to build guitars. There's some people that are meant to do sound. There's some people that are meant to fucking make merchandise, so there's some people that are meant to do artwork. It's all crucial, man. And every single fucking person is just, is important. Not everybody can be as talented as you. You're in a band.
I'm not
you're
saying
in a band.
I'm
you're doing a podcast. Now you're a fucking star. You're a double star now. You're fucking John Bon Jovi over here. Fucking,
Dude.
You're going to start doing movies. Is that what you're doing? You're going to start doing fucking movies?
I can't act. I'm too honest. I'm too honest. But, and I'm not even feeding an ego here. I'm literally just saying, to me, it's not enough just to be in a band. And I just encourage people to do something more than just playing a band. That's where I was getting to. I didn't mean for it to be like, you have to do something else outside of a band. I'm just busting your balls, dude. I just personally feel like it's not enough anymore. Maybe it once was at a certain time, but we need to have more people outside of just playing in a band, doing something else, like being
right now. I don't know if I agree with that, because right now we just need to have people in bands getting back on the horse and start playing shows again and
right.
getting back in the rhythm. So I think it's baby steps, dude. I think eventually, I mean, there are more and more people that are doing podcasts, and that, they have this, even fucking people my age and older that are fucking old fogies that are like fucking discovering this shit, fucking boomer technology all of a sudden. But it's cool. Some of these old timers, they have some of the best shows on right now that I fucking enjoy. And they even have younger people on there. And it's cool because they know their shit, and they're actually, they're old timers, but they respect the new stuff too. And that's how it always should be, because you shouldn't ever forget where you come from, so it's cool to support the new stuff too, just like the old stuff too, but little by little, I think, people will get more into it. There's just like I said, you're meant to do this. This is a niche that you found for yourself. You really can't expect. A lot of people don't have the personality to fucking do shit like this either. You know what I mean? So you have a way of talking to people that it's just like Howard Stern. He's like the best interviewer in the fucking world. If somehow, nobody took him serious and they were laughing at him for all these years. And yeah, he does a lot of slapstick shit. Look at the fucking, the crew that he has, obviously. And it's well deserved with the reputation that he has, obviously, with doing a lot of the bonehead fucking shit, made us laugh for all those years. When it comes down to it, when he started getting really serious with those celebrity interviews or whatnot, it was fucking fascinating. It was just fucking cool. He was able to fucking, wrench loose a lot of information that nobody else would be able to fucking do. So, you were able to talk to people, and you found a vehicle for yourself to fucking chat with people and fucking get that information spread out. So it's cool. I just, you can't expect that from everybody, unfortunately.
Totally. And I'm not saying everybody. I'm just saying there needs to be more people doing something else than just playing in a band is all. Like it's how our community grows.
Why would you want more fucking competition for your fucking Poppets Corner anyways, man? You should want them to just play music. Well, you don't want me doing fucking podcasts, bruh.
That's true.
I'll fucking steal your viewers, man.
That's true. But no, I appreciate that. But that's a new perspective that I haven't thought about. But I guess it's just more of a frustration for me is all. Maybe I'm just talking out of frustration. But
what the fuck are you worried about, man? You're doing well. That's all you should worry about. Who gives a fuck?
No, but I'm thinking more of it as a community type thing, like growing as the community. So
yeah, anyway, I hear you, man.
Let's move on to another, to a subject here. My dad Drops wants to know, because we see all these fucking figurines behind you.
Yeah.
When are we gonna get some Mike Abominator action figures?
Oh shit. Yeah, that's not the first time. What's up, Dad Drost? That's my boy. That's not the first time someone has mentioned that. I think it was more in the Gravehill days with the Mike Abominator doll. A couple people had mentioned that. That'd be pretty fucking funny, with the blood on the head and shit like that. I don't know. If someone's fucking stupid enough to make one and they want to waste their money and invest in something like that, as long as I get a copy, let's get it done.
Oh.
As long as I get a figure.
That's all it is too. It's just like printing records or making tapes or making CDs. Like I just want a copy, dude. Just give me a copy.
There's probably a way to do it. I honestly, if somebody really wants to waste their time and energy and money doing that, more power to you, motherfucker. You could probably do something better. But yeah, I don't know. If somebody wants to do, I ain't fucking doing it. I could barely fucking, do what I'm doing. I don't have time for podcasts and figure making. Right. So,
Well, yeah, but I think a lot, and going off your point earlier with, you're starting to see more people pop up with podcasts because they have time. Once we get back to normal and stuff, who knows who's going to have time? And that plays a huge
yes
part
and no.
That plays a huge part in it, though, dude. Is time.
Yeah, no, it is. But at the same time, like a lot more people are using these platforms and they're working from home now, so they're getting really familiar with Zoom and
StreamYard and whatnot.
StreamYard, places like that, the sites like that or whatnot. So they're gonna do it, man. There's a need for it, and especially with you're getting viewers and all these other podcasts are getting viewers, and we all know podcasts are fucking more popular than ever, and they're just growing. Everybody listens to podcasts in their fucking car. I mean, we all live in our cars here in Southern California, and I mean, I love music, but you know, podcasts are also a big part of our lives now. You know, very interesting, especially you know, with me, the true crime stuff and the haunted stuff and all that, and the unsolved mysteries, you know, all that crazy shit.
Right.
So.
Well, dude, those
Yeah,
podcasts.
no, it's fascinating, man. So it's cool, you know,
Yeah.
and it's interesting, you know. The people that you're talking to, the people some of my other friends are talking to, it's really cool, you know, hearing some of these stories and
Well, so
yeah,
and those podcasters become your friends, dude. It's like really fucking sad, but I love it at the same time because you know it's like if I have a bad day, I'll put on my favorite podcast and I'll either laugh my ass off or be informed about stuff
well,
that's happening
yeah,
because I'm not on social media anymore. I don't get
we
that information, so
we become family, you know. It's
Yeah.
just like growing up with Howard Stern, growing up with Mark and Brian, growing up with even Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and Metallica and Slayer and Venom and you know Autopsy and you know Entombed. You know, it's the same thing. You know, you're having a bad day or whatever, you throw on Howard Stern or whatever. Next thing you know, you're laughing your ass off. You know, because Richard Christie's fucking shoving something in his ass and Sal's eating it. You know, and so it's like it's one of those things. And you know, even before that, before I even discovered Howard Stern, Mike and Brian, you know, were part of the family in that sense. And yeah, and now it's the podcasters. You know, whoever your podcast main person is or whatever, and all the favorite podcasts. Those, you know, you think it's the same thing. You become close with them in that sense. You know, it's not like you know them and they're coming over for, you know, Christmas dinner or anything. You're sending them birthday cards, but, you know, they are a part of your life. So you got people out there that fucking think that same way about you, man. You know, so
that's scary
that's cool.
to think about. That's
it's fucking scary for sure. And they need to have their head examined. They're probably the same people that listen to Ruin, you know, but they listen to Ruin and Madrost and, you know, there's something wrong with them, but
fucking awesome.
it's all good.
Fucking awesome.
We love them.
But that's my point on this, and I've always stood by that having the visual aspect is super important for anything, you know. Like we were talking, dude, even talking, and I'll talk about it on here. You know, I mentioned to you earlier where a couple weeks ago where I was like, dude, like I love Hugh Hauser, like he's a huge influence on me, right? When I put on his stuff, I'm like, it's like seeing an old friend, you know. So having that visual aspect, it's like, you know. It's a comfort thing.
I'm talking about, dude. Huel's like a family member.
Yeah.
To like me and my family. We've been watching him for years. When he passed away, we were fucking bummed, dude. Everybody was bummed because he was goofy but he's an institution in Southern California and across the nation, but especially here. You know, obviously California Gold it's one of those things you just throw on a Saturday at 1:00 or whatever. You ain't doing shit. And you just get sucked into it. And next thing you know, fuck, I want to go there. You know, I want to go check this place out.
It's fun.
Totally. No, he was just a good guy too. He was just a good guy. So, you know, at the end of the day, who gives a fuck? You know, if the like I said, it's the same thing. They got conviction, they got heart, they got drive. It's positive. You're gonna be down with it.
Yeah, and you know what's also it's creating that vibe too. Not a lot of people can create that kind of vibe for a show. I've always found that you know, I've always wanted to do that, you know, create that environment. And like even watching Bob Ross, dude. Yeah, even watching like a Bob Ross or something, it's like I get sucked into that stuff. Yeah, you know,
Bob's the shit. So is Mr. Rogers. Same thing, man.
James,
you know?
James Lipton for me too. You know, all those guys are you know, they offered something different that I just
it was great, man.
I can't explain it. I just wanted to kind of wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to do that for me. I wanted to create my own version of what that is, you know.
It's just like Letterman, you know. David Letterman was the same way, man. He's the GOAT as far as the talk show people. Like there's something about him. He was just a regular fucking guy. He was able to pry loose a lot of shit, you know, out of people. And I always thought he had the best show, his classic era, you know, back in the day. You know, he was also kind of fringy. You know, he's kind of like, it felt like he was one of us. He was like a normal guy, but everybody laughed at him, you know, because Johnny Carson ruled. And, you know, Johnny was cool and everything too. You know, Ed McMahon was the shit. But it's like everybody was down with that, you know. Everybody was into that. That's why it was cool. David Letterman was kind of like the outsider, you know, just like Howard Stern, man. He was a fucking scumbag like I was. Howard Stern was a fucking scumbag. So I like the fucking scumbags, dude.
good.
You know, I like
It's-
fucking Darth Vader and Jason Voorhees. I like Howard Stern and David Letterman. You know, some of these fucking outsiders, underdogs. That's the way it goes, man. You know,
the
it's all
shit.
about the underdogs.
Absolutely.
The people that fucking get scoffed and laughed at, you know, because that's us fucking growing up. That's why we listen to this fucking crazy music and we do these fucking crazy bands and shit, obviously. We don't fucking fit in with fucking normal society in that sense. So when it becomes accepted, a lot of people get all fucking up in arms and pissed off about it. But it's like, fuck that, man. That's what it's all about. You fucking kick that fucking door down, kick some ass, and fucking did it your way and succeeded. That's what I mean. Hello, that's what the fuck it's all about, man. You know?
Well, and
I mean,
obviously everybody has their own interpretations of what success is. For me, I mean, even getting to episode 100 is a big deal. That's success for me. So
fucking A, man.
I don't have to have 50 million eyes on me all the time. It's like, dude, I've done this for what, 3 years and done 100 shows in 3 years. It's pretty good, right? It's
You're
like
doing something right, dude. You know, I mean, you know, you got to
my
be
point-
fucking, you're either an annoying fucking prick or fucking you're doing something right. So, you know, maybe it's a
both.
little bit of both.
Yeah, it's both for me. But my point in all this is like, you know, that's what all my favorite people did. They just kind of kept showing up, dude. And that's what it takes. It's just showing, you know, you got to keep showing up.
Hey,
You know?
that's where the conviction comes in, dude. That's where the heart comes in. That's where the balls, whatever, you know, all that shit. That's where it
Absolutely.
comes in. You got to fucking keep moving and don't give a fuck what anybody else says. You know, even if you only have 2 people watching when you're doing that, who gives a fuck
Dude.
if you're enjoying it and you're fucking talking to your guest? And I mean, obviously, I'm sitting here, we're friends, but fucking, you know, my fucking dumb life interests you. I've talked to you like 3 or 4 fucking times now.
I love it. I want you to keep coming back on.
That's cool. And you know, it's like, why not, man? Because you know, you're definitely right about exposure. I mean, that's the thing. Like I said, I agree and disagree with your assessment about people should do more. Obviously, I think because I expect less out of fucking human beings for the most part, and that's just me being a fucking jaded asshole, right? But you are right, and motherfuckers out there, the advice that Tanner and I will give to you is that if you want your band to be out there more and get more exposure and have more positive things happen to you, you should do a lot of shit like this. Do it. But if not, keep doing what you're doing and see what happens. Keep waiting, waiting and waiting. And, but no, I'm always busy behind the scenes, man.
Well, dude, you and me both, man.
Yeah.
It is.
Got to work hard. Keep working.
Absolutely.
Fucking somebody else going to take that position.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, yeah, who knows? Who fucking knows? Everyone's kind of, the lazy factor comes into play here too, right? But
like I said too, it's not even lazy. I mean, some people have kids, they got the family, they got some people got a gnarly job, dude, that's a soul sucker, so, and you got certain situations, we don't know what everyone's going through. Not everybody's meant for this too, like I said at the same time, but if you got the time and the effort, you can do some extra shit. Some people just want to show up, dude, to the jam room and plug in and fucking forget, have a few beers and jam, dude. You know what I mean? Smoke some fucking weed, fucking jam out with the buddies, go home and fucking do their thing. They're not really into the fucking behind the scenes shit like you and I are, for instance. So, and that's cool too, because there's a need. Those people are just as important too,
Absolutely, dude.
We wouldn't have bands without motherfuckers like that, because some of those motherfuckers are really talented.
Yeah, and I agree, because you don't really want too many chefs in the kitchen at every moment of the day. You kind of want to have like people that just want to come up and play, but having way too many of them, that's where it's a give and take relationship.
Yeah, it's too much conflict, Yeah. You definitely don't want too many chiefs.
Yeah,
that's where the fucking the fucking butting of the heads fucking happen, and definitely. And
absolutely,
I've been there, done that with various bands in the past and shit, and just haven't been able to figure it out. And eventually, it's kind of like, fuck, man, I just need to fucking do my own thing.
With your, I mean, you've been around a long time, and I'm just kind of curious, is there a project that you've always kind of wanted to do that you haven't? Do you, is there another kind of style that you always wanted to do? Maybe, be I don't know, a pop band, like, you know what I'm talking about, like any form of music maybe that you've always wanted to delve into, or another like behind the scenes thing, like because you've done radio, you've done radio, you've done all these killer bands, but is there something else that you've always wanted to do that maybe you haven't had the opportunity to?
I mean, as far as like anything outside of music, not necessarily. The radio stuff was fun, but it wasn't necessarily something that, it's kind of like it lost its luster after a while, and it just kind of fell by the wayside, and I just lost the passion for it. But it's kind of like that with the writing too. When I was writing for Metal Maniacs, but then eventually the fire burned out, but the fire to do music has never burned. So that's what I keep focusing on. But as far as like other musical projects, like, yeah, I like pop music, I like all kinds of different fucking styles of music. And as far as like me doing pop or rap or fucking R&B or, Motown or even like blues, that's not going to happen because I know it's going to sound completely horrible because I'm not really that great of a musician. I can put together some death metal and grindcore songs and whatnot, and I can organize stuff in that sense, but I don't think I have the skill to do anything that crazy. I do, obviously with some of the Ruin samples that, people have heard, and some of the stuff that I've done in Gasp with the experimental music, I do right now, like in the back of my mind, I do want to do like an experimental project where it's kind of like proggy, kind of soundscape, space rock, if you will, kind of more influenced by like Hawkwind and shit like Godspeed You Black Emperor and stuff like that, where it's more like instrumental stuff. Probably have some vocals though, but really powerful, kind of like movie soundtrack type music, basically.
Like
Kind of
like a Ozric Tentacles, or like a fucking
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that, something along those lines, kind of more experimental, maybe fucking spacey, progressive in that sense. A lot of layers to it. I'm slowly but surely. Yeah, no, I mean, that's something that I've been actually planning on doing. And it's kind of funny because I know, I've been actually contacting a lot of friends that play drums and stuff, and I want to work with them and different friends and different drummers and stuff like that. Even though, I mean, right now I have Mike and David and Charlie. It's like three of the best drummers in fucking underground music and in those genres or whatnot. I mean, honestly, I've basically been so lucky, and especially with the three bands that I've had, but even in Gravehill, being able to surround myself with the best musicians around in the scene. I mean, I'm not a dummy, man. I know what I'm doing. I definitely want to I want the shit to sound good. So it's always good to work with good people, So, but yeah, you having Rhett Davis play drums and Chris LaRocca play guitar, Babcock, and then David and Charlie, Steve Nelson, having some of the biggest and best names in the music scene, really makes it easy for me, because number one, they're all great people, but number two, it's kind of like I just have to, all right, this and this and that, bop, bop, bop. Next thing you know, they know it and they're playing it, and even like, Dan Kaufman and, some of the other, the Scott Martin, some of these people that I'm jamming with, and even Cynthia and Mitch and, just great friends that are so fucking talented in their own right too. And it just really makes it easier for me to bounce shit off of them and work with them in that sense. And it's just really cool how things evolve in that sense. So that being said, I'm used to working with good people. So, I'm talking to some drummers and a couple bass player friends of mine, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to form this really cool fucking crazy fucking band, and I want you to be a part of it. And yeah, okay, cool. Obviously the pandemic's been fucking really bizarre for a lot of that type of stuff, trying to get everybody in a room. Seems like things are getting a little bit under control with as we've talked about recently, with the vaccines and the fucking herd immunity and, everything, people being a little smarter and safer. We're starting to see some shows pop up. That was kind of cool. I'm not really fucking ready to fucking go into public like that just yet, all fucking crazy and shit. But it is cool seeing shit like that unfold. So hopefully that continues and
Absolutely
will be good. But yeah, as far as that goes, there's going to be some, some crazy projects going on as far as like something a little bit different. Maybe some heavy instrumental type music, like I said, just think of some crazy fucking soundscapes and some movie type stuff. I'll probably be doing some stuff like that, and I'll probably put it out myself. And again, some labels are interested or whatever, then that's cool. But at the same time, it's kind of like I'm so busy with Ruin, Vrenth, and Gasp that it's kind of like, fuck, I'm just kind of focused on that stuff right now, so I don't really honestly have a lot of time to focus on anything else. I mean, like I said, I would like to do some other stuff. And there's a couple other projects that I have in mind that I'd like to do, but it's just kind of like on the back burner right now. I've been putting off the Necronizer vocals. That's my friends in Argentina,
right.
Heavy Death, the guys from Bloodfiend. We did that one recording, and that was years ago, and I just fucking really don't have time to do it. So I need to get those vocals done, man. They got like a full length that's been waiting for me for a couple years, and I need to get the vocals on that. But that's the typical stuff that everybody's used to from me. It's basically fucking, total death metal stuff or whatever, simplistic, fucking straightforward death metal. But it's good.
Absolutely, dude. So, lastly, I want to thank you for coming on and hanging with me. Here's before we get to all the links and stuff, which will be in a couple more minutes. But, dude, I really just want to know, like, I know I asked you this on another previous interview, but give me some more in-depth information on this, where who hit you the hardest when they kind of passed away, either in the last, during this whole pandemic, that maybe you would have wanted to, say something more to them, hang out with them more and more and more. Who was that give me a couple that kind of hit you the hardest.
Yeah, I mean, Adrian, Mejia, obviously, that hit us really hard. And I think out of everybody that we've lost so far during this shitty fucking time of 2020 into 2021, Adrian hit the hardest because technically I was closest with him, I would say. And he was such a vital cog, and such a fucking nice guy and such a supportive guy, interesting guy too. I got to hang out with him for a full day one time because he did a video recording when I was in Dead Conspiracy up in, out of Portland. And we were doing PR for the self-titled album that we put out. And Adrian filmed me lip syncing in the video for one of the songs. And Adrian didn't drive. He didn't have a car. So I had to drive out to Koreatown in a fucking torrential downpour from Orange County, Fullerton, over to fucking Koreatown on the fucking 60 freeway. Fucking rain coming down like a motherfucker. But it was all good because I needed to get him, so I didn't give a shit. Grabbed Adrian, hung out. Of course, that car ride was long. It's a good hour, fucking hour and a half of chatting, fucking finding out about his life or whatever. But, I knew him from shows or whatnot, but it was cool actually spending some quality time with him. And then brought him back to the studio in Anaheim where, Ruin and a bunch of other bands jam at. And we spent a few hours recording my stupid ass in the dark, fucking singing along to a Dead Conspiracy song over the PA. He's got his GoPro, and he brought another regular, video camera, and he's filming me and shit like that. And it was a lot of fun, man. And then, he's a pizza freak. So I took him to Tony's Little Italy here in Placentia, which is a famous deep dish. It's a family from Chicago that opened up a pizzeria in Placentia, California. So it's authentic. They got all kinds of Chicago Bears and Blackhawks and Cubs stuff up there, and Bulls, and So took him there, and he loved it. Got him a pizza to take home for him and his dad to enjoy, and of course the car ride home and all that. So yeah, we spent the whole day with him. It was amazing. Getting to know him, hearing a little bit about his backstory and his life, his relationship with his dad. And That was tough, man. That was tough. And like, I asked you a few questions about what was going on because I didn't even know what had happened to him. Everything was kind of hush hush, and people weren't even sure because of the pandemic and the situation. But that was a rough one. That was a rough one. And then we lost Greg from Sacrificer. I had just recently started getting tight with him. I was actually introduced to him by my really, really cherished friends, Carmen and Jaime. They're part of the death metal cult. And Carmen takes all our pictures, and Jaime runs the Instagram and really, helps us out. I mean, without them, we wouldn't fucking be operating very well. And Greg had showed up to one of the Unfair Oaks Ruin shows. I forget which one it was, but it was up in Pasadena, and I met Greg for the first time. Because I think Gravehill played with Sacrificer a few times. We never really got a chance to, hang out and really chat. And but that, hung out with Greg that whole fucking night, man. He was such a great guy. We exchanged patches and, fucking traded a bunch of stuff, CDs and 7 inches and stuff like that. So we became fucking buddies at that point. And then from then on, every time we'd see each other, man, we'd be hanging out. And he used to go to every fucking show, man, every fucking show. And really just to support, hang out. Yeah, he loved to party, man. He loved to fucking party for sure. But he was definitely supportive and fucking just wanted to show some love to the homies, to all the heads and everything. So that was tough, man. He was such a great guy too, real down to earth, diehard. Adrian and Greg are just diehards, man. And then recently, I got my Blaspherian shirt on, Mr. Wes Weaver. We lost Wes. He's a legend in general, but definitely. I call him the mayor of the Texas Metal Underground because he was the first person that I met down there back in the day. And he was kind of like my gateway to everybody. And I love fucking Texas and the Texas metalheads. A lot of people, all you fucking Texas motherfuckers that are listening and supporting and watching right now, what's up. I love you guys, gals, everybody. They've always been really fucking supportive ever since, Gravehill was out there, and I've supported Ruin fucking endlessly. And Wes he was just a fucking good dude, total legend down there. And he actually was responsible for bringing Morbid Angel to Texas for the first time back in 1990. So that's pretty fucking crazy, man. Back in the day, Morbid Angel was just another band. So they were about to blow up. And obviously they did. They became legends and put out some landmark legendary recordings. Wes was friends with those guys, and you kind of troll through the old thank lists on Altars of Madness and Thy Kingdom Come demo. Wes Weaver's on there. And he used to do a radio show called Sweet Nightmares too. I didn't listen to that. I just kind of, the legend of the radio show, I heard about it later from his friends and whatnot. And I was like, oh, fuck, man. Wes was so humble, too. He just really didn't talk about a lot of that stuff. But Blaspherian's fucking badass.
Absolutely.
My boy Matt plays drums with them. And anybody go check that out. Go check out Sacrificer. Check out Adrian's work with his photography. You might, if you want to put some of those links up for Blaspherian, for Sacrificer, and for Adrian, for Metal Warzone, or wherever he's got his. I remember he had a YouTube channel and he was doing stuff with my friend Jimmy Cabs and stuff like that for a while. So, Adrian was filming all those interviews that Jimmy did, and it's just that shit's timeless, man. Adrian's photos are that's what the cool thing is, that we can remember our brothers that I just talked about forever, but we could remember them and fucking honor them by listening to the music and looking at those old photos and the whole 9 yards, man. So
absolutely. Well, before we get out of here, I got to add to two of the people that you had mentioned, because I'm not familiar with Blaspherian as of yet, so I'll have to check them out. That's the beauty part about doing these fucking podcasts and whatnot. I learned so many killer bands.
Oh, you'll dig them, dude. They're fucking heavy duty. You don't like Blaspherian, you got some problems.
Well, I don't know. I like Gasp and Ruin, so I already have some problems there.
Well, yeah. Blaspherian's better than fucking Gasp and Ruin.
But dude, I'll save I'll say the one that hit me the hardest last. But as far regarding Sacrificer, every time I would see Daniel and the boys, nothing but like cool people. Nothing but good
What
times.
up,
Nothing
Daniel? Okay, I love
nothing,
Daniel, man. He's such a nice guy.
but nothing but those guys treated me like I was a part of something more. I didn't get that at first in LA. Around the time when I was first starting. So there was only a handful of bands that were doing that, and we got us and Sacrifice are kind of we're tight. I know Richard's really tight with those guys too. I'm tight with Daniel and them. So this one hurt for me because and here's where I'm going with this too. He's a young guy. It's not like he was 50 or something. He was like my
He had a
age.
lot to live for.
So it's like fuck, that could be any one of my guys, or that could be
No, I
me.
mean,
It's like,
especially when people are living till they're 100 years old these days, 90. That wasn't happening in the 1920s. People are living a lot longer now. So when someone passes away as young as Greg, man, it's just like, fuck, dude.
but
It could happen to any of us.
But it made me realize, because I'm like, yeah, nothing's gonna happen. I don't know, I'm still young, but it's like, oh no, this could happen at any time. So it's like
Anytime, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy
exactly
life.
I cherish life now even further than I once did.
Yeah, and Greg enjoyed life, man. You knew him, he enjoyed it. And Daniel and Greg and those guys, now very fucking killer dudes. They're the homies, man. They're the heads. I call them the heads. They just don't give a fuck. They're fucking normal, fucking great fucking people, and
Great musicians too, dude. I remember
great musicians too. They're fucking killer fucking band.
I
know
saw
Chris
them.
Hatewar. Chris Hatewar had a fucking awesome fucking post talking about him. After Greg had passed, and he talked about his experience. Basically them coming up and throwing them on shows at the legendary Black Castle and whatnot. And I was there for a lot of that and fucking saw that madness. And it's all fucking. It was so fucking great, man. So
often overlooked in LA thrash for sure. They were
it's like at the end of the day they're a fucking killer fucking band too, dude. Man, with the riffs and fucking.
That's where I was going with this was. And I was always like, I'm like, fuck, that bass is way too loud, but that's okay. It's a preference thing, but they just embody LA to me. The LA thrash spirit was Sacrificer. And
they're fucking LA heads, man. I mean, that's what it's all about, No, I fucking agree. You look in the dictionary under fucking LA metal, Sacrificer's fucking right there, man.
Absolutely. And so I got to see him open for, Skeletal Remains at the in Fullerton here, and it was the last time I ever saw Sacrificer, and I mean it was probably the best show I've ever seen him play, and I was like, holy shit, this band's fucking amazing.
Yeah, they would they tend to upstage bands a lot of times too. So
I was saying, I'm like, my friends are amazing. I'm like, I wonder now if I'm at that level now. I'll never know, but I'm saying, like, watching them play, it's like that's inspiring for me to get even.
Oh yeah, no, the one of the nights Gravehill played with them, I think it was somewhere way out in the valley too, like Lake Balboa or some shit, and we were playing some fucking crazy place out there. Sacrificer played before us, and I was just watching them going, fuck, dude, we better be on our fucking A game tonight, man. These fuckers came to play, dude. They were fucking badass. So that inspired us too. We had to kick it up another notch because we're used to fucking handing bands their asses, So they fucking almost fucking handed us our ass. So it was like, you can't take a night off when Sacrificer's on the bill.
Absolutely. I always argue that with us. You can't take a night off when we play with us. So, but my point, all this is watching them play. I was like, I never realized it until I saw them at like a good venue with good sound, because they would always play backyards or like the Black House was cool, but the sound it's not the best, right?
Yeah, of course.
When I saw them play at at the slide bar,
slide bar,
whatever, I was just like, I never realized just how good they are as musicians, and I was very appreciative of that. So when we lost him, I was like, fuck, that hit me a little you know, it was a little too close to home for me personally.
Oh yeah, no, they fucking you know, they didn't give a fuck, you know, and that's the thing. They just showed up, plugged in, fucking kicked ass, and a lot of times it'd be backyards or you know some of the venues that you know obviously have much to be desired as far as like a PA system and shit like that. So they fucking hone their skills, you know, fucking coming up, fucking the hard way. So you get them in a fucking venue like the Slide Bar that has like pro sound or you know put them. You imagine them fucking like they would probably blow away most fucking bands at like the Observatory or something like that. Or you put them at the Whiskey, you know, forget about it, man. Sacrificer and fucking hand those bands their ass. All these fucking
Absolutely.
old, fucking
Dude.
washed up bands and shit think they're all badass.
Yeah.
They fucking nope. They
Yeah.
get blown off the fucking stage, man.
And that's why
Sacrificer was hungry and fucking having a good time, fucking raging.
absolutely. And it was always it always we every time we played with them, like specifically we played Casa Jimenez in like Pomona. It was like a I don't know if your dad had ever been there. It's not there anymore.
Yeah,
It was like
I remember that. I remember that
like
fucking venue. I remember those flyers all the fucking time.
right. So, but it was Madras, I think Mutants of War and Sacrificer at that place. And dude, that was fucking. It was for one, it was packed. They would always bring people. We'd always bring people. So it was always fucking packed. We had a fuck. I mean, you know, we became close at that show because it was like everybody helping each other, and they were just one of those. They're one of those bands. So very appreciative to them. And so yeah, like I said, that one hit me a little bit. It was a little bit too close to home when I found that one out. And
Yep.
the one that literally because it had hit me the most or the hardest was Adrian for obvious reasons. If you don't know the history of it, I'll inform you if I can, you know, bore some more people, whatever that is.
No, it's all about tribute to Adrian, man. You know,
Absolutely.
honoring his legacy. So go ahead.
Well, so I posted. Okay, so let me tell a couple stories real quick before I get off here. I the day I found out about Adrian's passing, I realized I had done an interview with him. I had interviewed Adrian, right? It was like it's literally like one of the only ones. And it's probably the only one that I stumbled upon. I couldn't find anything online or nobody interviewed him. He was always kind of the guy doing the interviews, right?
Right,
But
right.
nobody had ever interviewed him. So long story short, I interviewed him on KTST. I think it was the Monday Night Mayhem show with Benny the Breeze, which I think we interviewed you at that place too. So you know you can relate to that. So we brought Adrian on with the Metal Invictus guys, the crew, and we learned all about his story. So I had remembered that, and so I did like, you know, a little like I don't know minute tribute to him before that, and put it all together and just put it out there, right? I just put it out to the world. And I got a message from his family saying, you know, thanks so much for this. This really means a lot. And you know, I was like kind of little teary eyed reading it
Yeah.
because it's like that's important shit to me. Was documenting
For
that.
sure.
Imagine if I didn't do that, we would have nothing on him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, it's kind of a trip looking back on that, you know. I mean, that's interesting too. I didn't even know about that. And it's unfortunate, but then again, you know, Adrian was always behind the scenes kind of handling business in that sense, you know. There's always people like him and of course another one, Big Rob, man, my boy. Rest in peace, Big Rob, the roadie. You know, kind of like that's another unheralded underrated you know thing right there. There's nobody even like that, you know.
absolutely.
Behind the scenes running shit, Adrian was, you know, doing a lot of that stuff, but no one ever thinks to talk to someone like Rob or Adrian or, you know, some of these other cats, even like Dad Dismal, you know, or Jason or
I got one
some of
for
these
you.
other people that are just kind of, you know, behind the scenes and fucking would be interesting to talk to them about their experiences.
I got one for you. How about Arturo?
Arturo's another one, man. That's my boy.
How about Brian? If you know who Brian, he goes to all the shows and films.
I don't know if I met Brian.
Oh yes, you know who he is. Yeah, tall guy, long straight hair. You know who he is. He always films. Vulture Video is his thing on the YouTube. So
I don't know if I've ever actually met him. Maybe I've talked to him a couple times or something. But
my point is those people are equally as important as everybody playing an instrument. So when I found that out, obviously I did the tribute to him, and I posted the video or the audio from it, and getting that message back from his family was just a huge thing for me. I know I had gotten a few a few dislikes and a few angry faces from ex people in my life, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I was like, why? There's no point to it. So it's like,
why? What was the reasoning behind that?
I don't know. I have no idea. So my point in all this is like, that's the reason to do stuff like that, to capture those moments, and
tell me who those people are. If I ever see them in person, I'll have a little chat with them.
I'll let you know. But I also have had working experiences with Adrian, because he would take band photos, and he took our photos on the Into the Aquatic Sector record,
nice.
And which you were a part of, obviously helping us with the vocals. So it's kind of like full circle, right? It's like that.
Yeah, he was going to do some stuff for Ruin too, not band shots. He was actually going to do some video stuff. We were talking about loosely doing some video stuff, and that just kind of fell by the wayside eventually. He got busy with the Jimmy Cabs interviews and whatnot, and some of the other stuff he had going on. And but I still planned on trying to work with him on some stuff, just because of the stuff that he did for me with Dead Conspiracy was so badass, and everything worked out great. So
absolutely,
that's cool.
But my point is, so like that hit me harder because I had working experience, a relationship with him. And
well, you were definitely fucking super close with him, dude. It's a family member, so he was a brother. You guys got really tight, and it's just like losing a brother. I mean, brother, cousin, however you want to fucking put it. It's, people don't understand when you have close friends like that, they become family. If you don't know how that feels, you're missing out. Obviously, it's, when you have relationships that are that fucking tight, obviously to lose them fucking hurts, man. So it's,
and
it's a fucking bummer, dude.
I thought it was fake when I first heard it. I'm like that. I'm like, really? I think somebody's pulling my leg here. And then I sure as shit that he had passed. I couldn't.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't even fathom it, because
it was bizarre, like, because of the time we were in too, with the COVID. It was early on, wasn't it? Was it about a year ago or something? Maybe
April
or
May.
Yeah. So it wasn't that far off, from a year ago. So it was a fucking crazy fucking time.
Yeah.
And for that to happen too is just like, and I remember the whole GoFundMe and, all that kind of stuff. And it was just like, and it's frustrating to a lot of us because we can't go pay respects or whatnot, but it's totally understandable because we're in the middle of this pandemic. So we can't have a proper burial and funeral and memorial service. And, we can't mourn together. We can't fucking get wasted together, fucking laughing and talking about fucking Adrian stories.
That's why we do it here. That's why we do it here. So,
yeah, no, absolutely. That's the best thing. So that's the whole thing is that, you should definitely, somebody should do did you ever fucking post that interview you did with him?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
The whole
thing?
On
YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
The whole thing.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I'll send you the link to it after we get done with this.
For sure. Yeah, no, because, at the end of the day, people don't understand. Adrian was a very interesting dude, he was a very interesting guy online too. You talk to him. A couple of my friends are always like, yeah, I missed the sexy Adrian kisses that he used to give me and his little ass shaking emojis and shit like that. It's kind of funny.
You know what I miss, and it's not an ego thing at all, man. What I miss from him is he encouraged everybody. It didn't matter if you sucked ass or if you were the greatest fucking guitar player in the world.
You're right.
He treated everybody the same and didn't. He didn't ask for a fucking dime in return.
He wasn't bullshitting either when he fucking said that he loved you and he fucking he loved what you did. Fucker was straight up fucking honest, and that that's rare with human beings these days in a lot of ways. A lot of people like to blow smoke up your ass and fucking just tell you what you want to hear, man. And or like you said, they want something out of you. Where Adrian was just fucking just real down to earth. And he didn't want shit, man. He just wanted to be a part of something fucking badass, and he was. You know, he was family, real crucial part of the music scene, you know, here in Los Angeles, and actually worldwide, because of the interviews that he did with Jimmy and shit like that. You know, being able to interview all these international bands. You know, Jimmy did the interviewing, but Adrian did the filming and whatnot, and
the
that was
editing
a cool
everything
thing they
else.
had.
Yeah, but he
And
did
you know, at the
editing.
same time, it was like Adrian was so fucking stoked because he was able to get into these shows, and he's able to get into King Diamond and shit like that. He's able to hang out with Watain. You know, Adrian's just like, fuck, dude, because he's a real fucking head. He's a real fan. Real fucking great dude. He deserved it. And that's what's so cool is like when I'd see those pictures, like, fuck yeah, Adrian, man, you fucking deserve it, dude. You deserve it because you're kicking ass and you're doing things the right way. And
Absolutely, man.
I was
It's
happy for
inspiring.
him, you know, in that sense. He was doing well. And fuck, dude, life is a fucking motherfucker, Tanner.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
we just, like we said, we got to appreciate it.
absolutely, and it inspires me more so too, because I'm in that, I feel I'm cut from that same cloth where it's like I don't want anything from anybody. I do this because I fucking love to do it. I love talking to you guys and being a part of something bigger than me. That's what the whole thing's about. Win, lose, or draw, you know, I'm still gonna be here. Now this is the backstory to the Into the Aquatic Sector photo shoot, and it was really cool. So do you know that place off of the what is it, the 10? The brewery? It's like a big old, like, I mean, it's like a big, it looks like it's not really a brewery though. I don't think it is, but it's like these like smoke tower things that look out of, you know, looks like out of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It's off the 10 or the 5 or what?
Yeah,
You
it's
know
like,
what I mean.
is that the old Miller beer plant or whatever?
Is that what it is?
Maybe.
Wherever that place is, it's literally, it's like you can't miss it. Anyway, so we took the pictures there. So those shots that were that windmill, that famous, in my opinion, that iconic shot of us with, you know, right next to the windmill, and we're all kind of arms crossed. That was taken by Adrian, and that was at that specific location. So there was like 2 big buildings. There was like a gymnastics place, which is like the red brick building that you see off the freeway. It was like a gymnastics place or like a yoga studio, whatever the fuck it was. I was like, or rock climbing, one of the 3. I can't even remember. Anyway, regardless, so we take photos there, and right behind that windmill place is like this building, and I guess it was this guy who had been walking around watching us take photos, and he's like, "Hey, man, I think I got a good location for you. You know, nobody else is allowed in here, but I got the keys." So he took us into this building where it was being like, there's just a bunch of wood planks, and I was like, "What?" You know, it was like a storage facility. Anyway, we ended up taking some really iconic shots in that specific location, and I remember getting up on this fucking little ass beam, and I was like super afraid because I have a fear of falling. I'm sure everybody else, I'm sure most people do. And so, you know, when your platform's like, you know, this big to work with and whatnot. And so Adrian was shooting shots up, you know, at us, and, you know, making us look taller than what we are. Um, and so like those kind of things I was like very appreciative for. So after the photo shoot, didn't want anything, of course, right? That's what it is. He didn't want anything. So I ended up giving him cash, of course. I ended up paying for his services, and the rest is kind of history. So he, you know, like just those kind of little stories are what, you know, what I miss most is the friendship, the kindness, like that still needs to exist. So, you know, rest in peace to Adrian and to Greg and to Wes and all the heads that have crossed
Adrian,
over.
real quick, you know, much respect and love to them and their families and the band members and close friends and everybody associated with them. Obviously, we all mourn together. You know, we all need to honor them together. Adrian was much like, you know, my friend Carmen, who does the Ruin photography, and April, our friend that used to shoot Grave Hill shots. Adrian just had a natural eye for photos. There was something about what he did. I mean, you look at some of the live footage, it's not easy to shoot live shots. As a matter of fact, it's really fucking hard.
The drum cams. Well, what about the drum cams he would do? I was like, how did you do that?
Drum cams are legendary, man. And the drummers are always forgotten too, if you think about it, because they're always in the back, and yeah, they're badass. You know that we know. You know, a lot of the drummers have bombastic personalities or whatnot. You know, John Bonham and this and that, but at the same time, they're in the back, and a lot of the live band shots, sometimes the drummer gets lost. But Adrian always made sure he got back there and took some drum shots. But yeah, the drum cams are fucking great because the drummers are the most fascinating out of the fucking musicians for sure. I mean, shit, I love watching the drummers. I love watching Neil Peart. When I'm watching Zeppelin videos, I'm watching fucking Bonzo. And so it was fucking, there's something about Adrian's passion that everything he did, it just rang true. It just fucking, it came through with the passion, and it was the fucking right way, man. And that's all the heart that he had. And it's the same thing with Wes and Greg too. And that's why it's such a shame that they're gone, and loss, human loss happens, unfortunately. And but it especially after 2020, during, we lost Adrian early on, then we lost Greg recently, and then Wes for me. It's just like, fuck, man, after 2020 and all the other loss that we've experienced with whatever, it's good to be here. Let's put it that way. It's good to be here, and definitely appreciative and thankful. So
absolutely, man.
Hey,
well, dude, let's get out of here real quick. Tell us your links, man. Tell us where people can find anything Mike Abominator related. And I want to thank you for coming on and hanging with me for literally the milestone, the milestone of Poppet's Corner. This is episode 100.
Man, it was an honor to be here. Real quick, I didn't get a chance to. We talked about Gasp for a lot. I didn't get a chance to talk about Ruin and Vrenth as much. Real quick though, I'll give you an update. Ruin, Spread, Plague, Death is the third album that shall be coming out very soon. I'm doing the cassette release with my boy Robert at Neuro One, my brother, and he also works at Zings. He does metal shows over there, and once the shit gets back to normal, expect some killer fucking metal shows. I'm going to be helping him out with that. Once we have the okay in Orange County, and they give us the old heave ho, we're going to start doing some events over there. Maybe you and Andy can come down, do your show, and But anyways, so yeah, Robert and I are doing the tapes. My boy Aaron in Texas, Goat Throne Records, is doing the CD, and then my boy Brandon at Nameless Grave Records is doing the vinyl, and that will be, see, right now it's at Mammoth Mastering. So Dan's hammering the mastering of that. Should be done in about a week and a half. And then it's all up to the fucking, the production of the stuff getting out or whatever. So should be out by end of summer, hopefully, if everything comes together. Vrenth, obviously Baptism Death is out. So yeah, you can go to the Vrenth Bandcamp and get the stuff there. And we have we have some shirts and stickers and patches and shit like that. The Baptism Death album's up or whatever. And then Tanner will put up the links too on the interview or whatever, so you can go there. And then Gasp, same thing, bunch of merchandise up or whatever. I think we already talked about all that. Vrenth, before I forget, Vrenth has a split with Depraver, killer local band that's going to be coming out. We're definitely looking for somebody to do the vinyl if you want to do some 12-inch vinyl, because we got, a certain amount of material that we want to put out. But Cavernous Records out of England is doing the CD, and then Robert at Neuro One's going to do the tape. So that Vrenth Depraver split shall be coming out, and then Christian and Charlie start tracking album number 2 for Vrenth next month. So that'll be badass. Charlie's actually going to track this one up in Portland, where he lives. The Baptism Death he did down at Trench Studios with John. Just kind of worked itself out. He was able to, it was like right before the fucking pandemic busted out. So we were able to sneak him into Trench Studios, and he was able to do it. And Yeah, and then we already went over the Gasp stuff. Go to the Gasp, hit up Gasp Bandcamp, Gasp Los Angeles, and there's some fucking Instagram pages, and I got a death metal cult Facebook. I don't really utilize it too much or whatever. But
Absolutely.
yeah, man, 100 episodes. I really appreciate it, Tanner. It's always good talking to you. It's a good interview. Fucking proud of you.
Cheers, my friend. Cheers.
A German Rataburger to fucking toast your fucking your Modelo.
But yeah, man, let's
cheers to 100 more, man.
Absolutely.
You're doing great. I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of Madrast, and I thank you for the fucking the sick package the other day. I got to get a package out to you. We're doing some trades, old school style. So I got my shirt, my vinyl, my tapes. I'm all fucking stoked. I like your cute little stickers.
I'm surprised.
Your little tiny stickers. I put them on my little plastic Walmart shelves where I keep all my supplies. I got all my little Madras stickers all over the place now. So
fucking awesome, dude. Dude, I'm surprised I had a shirt. So
well, you had a fucking 3X too, man. I'm a big guy, so I needed the fucking bedspread size. So I was like, fuck, man. I'm gonna rock a fucking big ass Madras shirt.
I'm surprised I had that. So cherish it. But yeah.
Well, fucking A, man. I'm cherishing it. I'm gonna fucking sleep in it tonight. How's that?
There you go. But another episode of Poppets Corner. I'm out of here, guys. Cheers.